could be more than one trigger event at the same time, but at least they will have one trigger event to cause this disruption. Okay. So there are two, as we mentioned, the disruption types. Okay, maybe because because of the technology issue, the legal issue, the demand shifter, but we can categorize this kind of disruption into two groups. One is caused by the supply side. Another one is caused by the demand side, okay, the customer side. So it will cause the customer side or the supply side disruption. So that will be that is fine. So for every trigger event, we would like to watch what the event impacts on the this supply chain. So there will be several parts. We will divide this issue to several parts. The first part is A, and we will discuss later. Okay, like the periods. Okay, so they will like the periodic, how often this trigger event will happen. Okay, we like to know this event comes in the next event. When the similar event will come to there. Sometimes the events, the durations of the event, the parts of the disruptions, the event is a part longer, so they will have one impact back to normal, and then the other event will come. Sometimes it's too close. Okay, so the previous one is not back to the normal situation yet. The other events will come again, so they will accumulate. Okay, for example, the traffic congestion, okay, the traffic line, the traffic signs from the red to green, and all the queue is put through. Okay, so they will come back to another queue. But sometimes you have a long queue there. So the other, for one cycle of the traffic signs, you still cannot solve all the vehicles, and they will backwards. Okay, so something like that. So with different periodical issues. Okay, so we have a long periodic or the short periodic. Okay, so they will more interaction there. Okay, so that's another one is the time periods. Okay, this is the time periods. It's B here, time periods. That's known by the second. The time periods is over. The trigger event is present at the source. Okay. So in the case of the supply side, the interruption time periods begin at once. Interruption of the supply. Okay. So anyway, that is quite simple. And the representative, the quantitative loss is this one. Let's see here. Okay. How serious, right, what kind of impacts in terms of the measurements? Okay. The quantitative loss for that one. So for example, if we want to measure the profit, okay, this event happened, but it will drop. Okay, all the number of customers show up in your firms, or your order drop, something like that. Okay. So that's the several issues. I will just bring me one important thing. Do you have a textbook?
No.
Do you have the material of the textbook?
No.
Okay. Oh, that's a good issue. Sorry, I don't have such good background about this topic. I will generate a Facebook. I used to Facebook. I use a group, a Facebook. I will invite some of the students here, and you help me to invite more students there. Okay, and I will put the textbook materials in the Facebook so you can download and go back to review. Okay. Yeah, because I thought you have a textbook already. So I don't like the I don't like the e-learning. Sorry, I don't like it. Allow me to do it my way. So I will have a flexible day and I will invite you here. And if you happen to know some of your friends here, then you can invite more of them. I will do it later after this class. Yeah. And I will put materials there. And also you can easier to communicate with me in the Facebook. Oh, I'm glad that I asked this question. Otherwise I would say, okay, it's easy then it's a Facebook so you can read it yourself. I will skip all of them. Okay. All right, and it's also the property issues. Okay, they will consider this part. Anyway, later you really can do that. I want to talk about this one more specifically. It's the G part, the post recovery issues. Very important. We want to know after the event, the trigger event, how long it takes. Not only happened, the duration of the happens, but how long they will recover. Okay, it's very important for the disruption simulation. For example, the typhoon comes to Hualien, right? They destroy the several the farms. Okay, so the supply of the vegetable drops a lot. How long it will take to recover the supply quantity, okay, such that the price maybe will go back to the acceptable range. So that's one issue we always like to know. Okay, because during the kind of situation we will know the logistics of the vegetables, what will happen to the trucks. Okay, the usage of the trucks, they will be another big issue. Or maybe because the typhoon destroyed the railroad, okay, they will block most of the supply, the roads, supply channels, okay, from Taipei to Hualien or Hualien to Taipei. So we will have to reroute. We will, instead of going to Taipei directly from Hualien to the northward, but we will go to south to take the other routes so that the cost of the transportation will be increasing. So the price of the products will going up. Okay? But however, because you are facing the competition with the other countries' products or the other counties' products, so the price you cannot go up. So you have a less, you have the same price, but you have higher cost. So your profit will be less. Sometimes even go to negative. You are losing the money, but if you don't sell, you are losing more. Okay, so people, the commercial, some business persons will do business under the negative profit. The reason is because if they don't do that, they will have a more loss in your profit. Okay, so this is our situation. We have to know when they will recover. This kind of situation. So the government has to think about should we subsidize them or not, and when to subsidize, by how much. It's very important. You cannot say, okay, once the typhoon hit Hualien, we have to subsidize them. It's not necessary. Because sometimes the loss is not that huge. Sometimes the recovery is very quick, so they will make profit again. And there's a risk that the business person had to face by themselves. Okay? But if due to some of the other reasons, the recovery time will be very long due to the basic infrastructure is not recovered, the government should subsidize them. Okay? So you have to understand that different situations, you have a different policy to do. Okay? And also the great part of so the trigger event are multiples, and they were different different situation. That means that, what I mean is that have a two nodes, more trigger events, the system will be many so complicated. And of course the location, okay, where the upper stream will have the disruption happen. That's the one we want to know, and we have to simulate that one. So those are the factors, the characteristics of the disruption. Okay, we have several characteristics of the disruptions and major levels. Then after we understand that one, we will back to our simulation. We try to model in the situation. After we understand the basic structure there, we have to do that. So we have different tools to help us to do that. One of the popular and the simple one is we are using a computer to do that for us. Okay? And we show some model tools already, okay, in terms of the models for the traffic situation and also the supply chain. The system dynamics one. And let me jump a little bit to the last one. I want to show you another one. It's a very powerful one. And of course, they will request some money. Actually, I opened the one. Okay. It's only 2 minutes. This is about the supply chain disruption. So the simulation models I showed for the traffic, all the supply chain, all the system dynamics. Of course, the system dynamics one, they are, if you're doing the right modeling, you can also simulate the supply chain systems. But this one is more basic.
Welcome to SCM Flow. You run the supply chain for your family business.
Sorry.
Your dad and uncle set up a new venture, S&J.
Sorry. I think I can make the voice louder.
Welcome to SCM Flow. You run the supply chain for your family business. Your dad and uncle set up a new venture, S&J Trading in Angola. They sent you out to the capital, Luanda, to run the supply chain that will grow the business. You get shipments every other week from Europe and the United States. You have stores here, here, and here. Your distribution center is in Luanda, close to where you pull containers off the ships. Trucks from the distribution center keep the stores supplied with products. So far, you've done pretty well. You've tweaked your supply chain to maximize efficiency. As situations change, you make sure you have enough inventory on hand to meet demand at the stores. You click on tabs for the different stores to see numeric and graphic readouts of inventory on hand. But then something unexpected happens. A new opportunity has suddenly showed up to open new stores here and here, but you need to make it happen in 30 days. Are you up to it? Supply chains are part science and part street smart, and science alone won't get you through the sudden unexpected stuff. To make it happen, you'll have to rethink your supply chain design. Do you create a new distribution center to support these stores, or expand the distribution center you already have? Do you run multi-drop routes or single-stop routes from your distribution center? Do you want a lot of storage at the stores, or do you want to make more frequent deliveries? SCM Globe is what merges the science and the street smarts. It does the calculations while you do the thinking. SCM Globe shows you where your ideas might lead. Stores that run out of product are worse than no stores at all. They cost you money and don't make you any money. Better to find out what happens by simulating different ideas. It sure beats letting stockouts happen in the real world. This is today. We'll keep improving. You tell us where you want SCM Globe to go. Merging human street smarts and real-time map and 3D data displays. Welcome to SCM Globe. The world is yours.
like the simulation. But, well, I have to warn you that you see a lot of fancy visualized results, okay? Then they show you a lot of interface. The manager is easy to assess, understand what the policy decisions they are making and how to react. As I mentioned about the SimCity games there, the visualization is just an interface for the simulation itself to the manager. But inside the simulation, it's still the same, still a software, okay, the program. So I would say that this is the real problem. This is the real problem. We are interpret it as a model. We are using a simulation to describe the model. Okay, you have different ways to describe model. Okay, you can use the optimization problems approach. You can use the simulation problem to do that. But no matter it's a simulation or the optimization problems, you still working on to collect the data, to describe the relationship with the decision variables to the optimization objectives, or the decision variable to the constraints, right? But for the simulations, you are describe the relationship between the elements, the key elements, okay? The factors, the key factors, how to describe those. If this one in, for example, the interesting rate in the bank getting higher, what the revenue will change. Okay, if the customer's preference changed, what the products will gain more demands, what products will lose the demands. You are still trying to describe the relationship between the elements. So basically, no matter what kind of a model approach you are using, you are doing exactly the same thing, except the objective is different. For the optimization, we are setting the one objective there, and we are setting constraints such that during the constraints, we want to set the one of the best solutions to increase in the objective. For the heuristic problem approach, we still setting the same thing, but we know it's difficult to get the one result soon. So we are trying to several ways to see how to choose the solutions such that they can approach to the best one, okay, to reduce to get the highest one, or to reduce the errors somewhere. For the simulations, we are doing almost the same thing, but we have described the relationship. We are trying to do the input and output results. Instead of the one result, we are trying to do thousands, millions times of results, and now we accumulate another distribution of the outputs. And we know these policies could be better or not than the other policies. Okay? So to us, the modeling concepts almost the same. Okay? It's a different ways to perform. And here, we have to do the manager. So we have to tell the managers, okay, the CEOs, what the results means, how they implement the results we have from the model, okay, what kind of, and how to put the orders, how to implement those decisions to the department, to the production departments, or to the sales department, how to interpret the one. That's very important. But now, due to the visualization, it's much easier that the manager can play the model. Okay, so they can visualize how it works. So easy for us to interpret. Okay. Before, back to the 20 years, 30 years, if we don't have a visualization tool so easy, we were just giving the reports, right? Lots of numbers, tables there. And they would say, oh, how about this one? And say, oh, wait a minute, let me go back to my office to run another one and come here again. Okay, oh, you can show you a screen there. You see this number is running. See, that's the one. And that's very inefficient to communicate. But with the visualization interface, okay, it's easier to see. Actually, the vehicle is running there. It's not really a vehicle, right? Just some colors. Okay, it's not really the real time, but they can. I mean, with the visualization, they can easy to understand. Oh, okay, I see the vehicle running. It's so cute. Okay, and they are happy. Okay, they understand what we are talking about. Okay, so to us, okay, we are kind of a developer. Okay, we are not only a time manager. We have to learn the skill of this one, and we are connecting these two. Of course, if you are rich enough or you are enter a big company later, okay, of course you may not be a modeling person, but you will be charged to communicate with those people's, those nerds. Okay, no, okay, they are okay working on their computer and don't know how to communicate with the outside, and you are the one to talk to them. To say, okay, I want this and that. Okay, I know what you are talking about. Stop it. Okay, and this is what I want. Okay, and tell you, okay, I want to see this result. Don't tell me you cannot do that because it's easier to do that. I have taken the courses. I know. Okay, so you know how to push them to the limit. Okay, how to push them to be not too lazy. Okay, to lie to you. You know that. That's important to understand. And also, it's very important to understand what they need. You cannot just tell those people, say, okay, I want a simulation of my bank. Go back to your office. Give it to me tomorrow. You have to provide them enough information. Okay, otherwise they will give you a very fancy simulation and totally not correct. Okay, they will borrow it from the other companies. Okay, or maybe from the other one, they'll change the shape, change the story, and they say, oh wow, so good, everything is happy, but it's not your company's problem. Definitely it's not. Okay, so you have to know, understand how to provide that information. Also know how to raise the questions to them. Okay, how come if this one not the one? They have to explain to you clearly, not only just tell you, because computer tell there's no way to accept that kind of answer because computer do this. You have to explanation. You have to help them to explain in the right way to you. It's part of our job. Okay, so it's not easy, but it's not that difficult. Okay, to help company to get a very good. So we have to choose the right simulation model, okay? And also, if once we have a simulation models, okay, we have to start to simulate. So we have to set up the parameters. We have to know what kind of parameters we have fit in there. Okay, what's the range, what's the reasonable numbers we should put in there. We can test some numbers there, so that is a given, all the simulation has changed and there. And also the experimental factors, because it's difficult to make sure the validity of the model. So you have to test some numbers, and the results come out, we know, it makes sense to me. Why? What mean of makes sense to me? Because it means the results is fit to your experiment, right? You have some experience. You think, if you do that one, the results should be that way. So you have to help them to have the experimental factors. You have to control to make sure the experience, the results fit to the outcome. And of course, they have several ones to do. Okay, you can information policies. You can say, okay, I want to change this one. I want to buffer this. I want to change another positions. The buffer variable, like the inventory, the lead time, the capacity. I want to change those things. Okay, then you tell me what's the results there. Okay, that's the purpose of the simulation. Okay. And alternative resource, if I don't want to do that, do the other one. Okay, that's fine. So there's several things and then later, after we know when the supply chain have a disruption, what kind of the triggers event will cause this disruption? And we have to know during this kind of triggers, we need to have a model, so we build a model there. And we know, okay, what we want to see, what we want to control, so we have a different experimental factor there. Okay, we want to control the inventory, we want to control the lead time, so we want to know what the system reacts to our control variables. Then, the most important one is performance. Of course, we change this one into C1, we want to see the performance, right? So that's the major index, okay? But performance could be the profit, could be the revenue, could be the reaction time, okay? Could be how stable it is, okay? Sometimes we want to make sure it's a stable transaction in process. Okay. So strategic, what kind of the one we have to. So that's the one. So like the lead time, the quality, the flexibility. Okay. Okay, performance, the operational things. So sometimes we want to have a simulations. That's one way to use a computer to do that. And the other way, as I mentioned, we can really simulate in the real world. That's part of that's another type of the simulation. For example, if you are a bank, you are running the operate a bank, you want to have a pressure test. Means that you hire 100% outside. Okay, then they will come in 1 hour. And they come in there, come in your bank branch, and they say, okay, I want to open a new account, I want to withdraw money. So you want to watch how the branch react to this kind of extreme case. That's kind of a simulation too. Okay, the luck is that the person is under your control, so you know how to put through those people. But this kind of simulation, several times like practice, right? So once they have something happen, they know how to deal with that. So that's kind of simulation too. The training is a kind of simulation as well. Okay. So every time I talk to my colleagues now, sorry about this semester, it's kind of messy. I suddenly was assigned to the Minister of Science and Technology in Taipei. Okay, so I had 2 jobs to do. Okay, in there, I work 60 days a week. Okay, because too many guys are new there. Okay, so I have 3 major jobs in the new office. One is for the international cooperation. We sign up all the projects and meet a lot of foreign investors and ministers. I have a stack of the business card in my last 2 months is really this high. Okay, this high. Wow, how much is high? So I start scan the business card, and that's only scan few of them. So I asked my secretary, you scan the rest. Okay. I just don't know how. That's just only part of my job. I have 7 foreign office over the world, overseas, 7 overseas office in all the areas, and I have to contact with them and also meet a lot of people. That's one of third job there. Okay. And the other one, I have to go to promote the science education. Okay, so I have to for the video, the channel, the TV channel, the books, okay, the museum somewhere, and visit to assign the scientists to how to promote our quantum physics, how to promote the black hole to the populations of the education. So that's another part. So I talk to the TV channel, a lot of them. The other one is to charge for the inbound, outbound, high-tech people, including the PhD students, postdoc students, the technical person, the distinguished researchers, the professors come to Taiwan, or our our staff go out. Okay, sometimes then it's about every year spend 0.2 million. Sorry, 0.2 billion in NT dollars. Okay, for the part. Okay, so that's my third part job. But we still have lots of routine interrupts. That's a supply chain. If everything goes through, that will be heaven to me, right? But every day have a new situation happen, okay? And a different type, okay? Including the fighting with China. That's true. Okay, China will give us some issues, and the other countries as well. Okay, and also the legislation, our legal lawmakers. Okay, they will do a lot of trouble to me. Okay, I have to fight with them as well, and also some mistakes maybe happens in the supply. I will always think about my job as a supply chain. I always see it's an ecosystem thing. So maybe some part happens going wrong, and I have to consider, should I fix this one or I fix that one? Or should I fix from here to there? Okay, how to make sure everything's okay. And also the people, I have 50 staff work for me, so people make a lot of emotion issues, right? I have to make sure everybody's happy there. And another job is to come back doing the research and the teaching. Okay, and I don't want to let them to say, okay, I only work 4 days there, so mostly from Sunday or Saturday I will go back to office to work. Okay, because there's really a lot of jobs to do there. And so, but how to measure performance, that's the key issues for different type of job. Okay, because I have 3 jobs. The 3